let's talk about your trajectory currently. Even though you've lost a couple of games, before that you had even disregarding the draws, you had a period of gaining some rating points in the rankings, and many people, including, for example, Fabi, say he said in a recent episode of his podcast that you are on a roll, that your chess is now better, and that you are going to get back to top 10. Can you please tell me what has changed in your maybe preparation, in your routine? Because while preparing, I've checked out a podcast in French that you've recently recorded. My French leaves much to be desired, but I've managed to translate something with César Moreau. The podcast,
yes,
I'll link it in the description for all the French-speaking audience. And you said that you train at home for like 2 to 3 hours per day. And I was surprised, like, how can this man train 2 to 3 hours per day and be so successful? Well, obviously during tournaments you train more, but is it enough, or maybe you've now upped your time invested in chess?
2 to 3 hours is the general routine. Like if I'm alone at home, simply because I don't want to look too much at too many things. But of course, first of all, I have people working for me. That's very good, so they send files and that I will recheck. And also during training camps, or of course during tournaments, because when I had this series of tournaments ongoing, like you're non-stop looking at chess or doing chess. So, but yes, when I'm at home, I don't feel like working too much, especially on openings by myself. I mean, of course, I have to look at the games that are ongoing. This sort of stuff I don't count as hours working, because it's just something you do. You look at the openings, and maybe sometimes it clicks, and then I will look at some opening. But in general, the main changes was of course broadening my opening repertoire, and of course it took time, but it worked out quite well. With black, I have more options, more solid options as well. So, I mean, parts of that explains, it's part of the explanation for the unbeaten streak as well. Of course, the option to play Queen's Gambit accepted, or recently this d5, c5 that Hikaru was playing quite a lot. And also to not be stuck with only Najdorf, because... but sometimes randomizing things a bit. I played d4, e5 with Jan Nepomniachtchi in Singfield Cup as well. It was a big surprise for him, but it worked quite well. So, to have all these extra options makes my life easier in a sense. Of course, it has taken quite a considerable amount of time, like to somehow gain some mastery. Of course, not to the extent of the mastery of the Najdorf, but to at least be able to play it on level terms with top players. And then of course we identified an issue with white, and because in a lot of games I was not putting pressure with white. Sometimes I did, but not nearly enough for top level chess. And this is what we were working on, and there are signs of improvement, so we'll see how it goes. But of course, the ambition, like in terms of level of play, of course, I feel like I belong to top 10. It will take time, because I still have like 20 points to recover after I lost a few in Chennai. So, and because first half of the year is generally not very busy, so in 2025. So, but I feel like on this trajectory, and even counting Chennai, I'm on the right path. I've played better chess. There was also a moment where I was a bit exhausted from chess, I would say, first half of 2022, but of course it caused some lasting damage, because, some period where you don't even feel like you want to play chess, it can affect your chess even on the longer term, because of course the opening preparation was done, but then the ambition of even playing was not there. So, and I recovered it, and but of course by then I had some issues in the openings, but we worked on it, and I think now, with my team we're doing good work, and only excited for the future. I have quite a lot of big tournaments coming up, even if it's rapid. Champion Chester Finals, World Rapid and Blitz. Of course, I would like to win once again, but there's one major problem coming from Norway. Won the last four, the last four Rapid and Blitz, and a few more as well in 2019. To have, I think, is it 13 in total of Rapid and Blitz only? I think it's 13.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So he'll forgive me if it's 14, I think. I don't need to know all the details about Magnus' career. But anyway, yeah, I feel like last year I was playing very well. I finished 4th and 6th, I think. So yeah, this year hopefully I can do very well. And if things go my way, why not win one? And we'll think about Classical in due time when season starts back in 2025, January second half, everything packed, and now it will be Grand Chester. It will be, of course, World Cup and the FIDE Grand Swiss with the qualification spot for candidates at stake. There's also the FIDE circuit, so depending on how I do, I will have also to include maybe some open tournaments, but this we'll see in due time. Some people will say, but you say if you don't give your everything and you work only 2-3 hours a day when you're at home. But I just know, and I mean, in the past I've sometimes worked 6 to 8 hours a day at home, and I just couldn't sustain it. I just couldn't do it. It wouldn't bring results because I would not enjoy it. I would not enjoy the process. So for me, this is what works. I know that for some younger kids, they can work 8-10 hours a day. And of course, they gain an advantage over me, in the work they do at home, but somehow I compensate, and I physically cannot do more than this 3 hours per day. But anyway, also that's why I have a good team that, fills the holes, and things were working out in terms of openings. So of course, learning new things also helps. After having been for 10 years working on the same Neidorf, Grunfeld, and Berlin lines. And also the thing is, when you work on an opening for so long, for so many times, sometimes you lose the plot. So sometimes, because basically I've looked at every possible position, and sometimes some things you look at 2 years ago compared to some new stuff you decide to play 3 months before, then you forget what you want to play, and it really becomes, knowing too much sometimes is an issue.
Wow, I think this would be an inspirational example for all of our viewers and listeners who stick to their openings, that even if Maxime vachier-lagrave can switch from the Neidorf and Grunfeld to other openings, and you can also.
Yeah, but not only that, it became necessary, of course, with engines. So with engines becoming so strong, I would say up until basically Lila, I would say you could keep to one opening because nobody could be able to actually close it out. But now what they were doing against my Neidorf, so either they were doing a memory test, and if I fail, I lose. If I don't fail, I make a draw. So that's not very fun. Or, some lines they basically analyzed until the end. And for instance, and when I say until the end, it's not until the middle game advantage, because there I could compensate, and I had tons of games, I think of games with Anish, I think of game with Fabi, where I was worse entering the middle game, and, because I understood the Neidorf positions very well, I would manage to find my own way, and sometimes even win these games. Of course, a few times losing, but at least I'd have winning chances. But now they can even close the middle game in the sense that they know exactly what they're gonna do in the middle game, and then it didn't work out. So there was a need to expand my openings. It was it would have been even better if it had been proactive instead of a reaction, but at least I knew that I had to react and to do the work that I did with my team.